Hello, everyone, and welcome to the SeeWDW Near and Far Parks and Socials edition for the week of 8/23/23. All right, John, we're going to talk about your week in the parks and your socials. So, how did your week in the parks go this week?
Well, as has been fairly normal lately, I made it to the parks twice. And this particular time, I tried for the third time. I was going to go and ride Dudley Do Right's Ripsaw Falls at Universal. And, we were going to go when my wife got home from work on Sunday. And then a lot of clouds came in. You can see here, it wasn't rain clouds, but the entire cloud sky was, clouded, nice and coated with clouds. And honestly, it is not worth doing the Dudley Do Right things without blue sky because cloudy videos just don't do that well. I don't know
They
why
don't.
exactly. The algorithm doesn't like them. Maybe people don't like them. I don't know. But blue sky and sunshine is good, or nighttime is cool. But this is a negative. So we were like, well, let's just go over and see what happens. So we still went, but we did not ride Dudley Do Rights. If we would have tried, it probably would have rained. I don't know. Or no, it would have broken if it's like all the other times. So. Anyway, here's my first thing, and again, this doesn't happen a lot with Universal, but we went, and I don't have pictures of it, but the first thing I did was go to the Cat in the Hat because I wanted to test out my Instago 360 camera on my hat and just see what it looks like through my point of view. And I've been wanting to do that a while, so I'm like, all right, I'm going to do that. We went up. There was no wait. It said 5 minutes, but we went in through the express line because they keep track of how much express is used. Is it a worthwhile benefit and this and that? And so I like to use it just to keep the system updating, saying, yes, I do use it. I enjoy it. It's used often. So my wife went to scan hers and then she started walking. And then the team member said, oh, no, come back. It didn't work right. And so meanwhile, a bunch of people were going in, like 10 people, 20 people, 25 people in the standby line. And I stood there and watched as it was completely empty, initially as that line built. And then the team member said, I need to call somebody and figure out what's going on with this thing. Just wait. And I told my wife, I'm like, yeah, let's go. I was like, I'm not waiting. I said the line was empty. So I walked away. She did follow me. I mean, I didn't say anything or whatever. And again, I know it's rude, but I'm very aware of time. I'm very aware of circumstance. And I just watched as I could have just walked in the standby and I just had to use Express and it had to not work. And I'm like, wow, this is starting out great. I said, just forget it. So from there, we went into the All Hallows Eve boutique,
Hmm.
where they have, and I've never done anything like this because I feel like it's a little expensive. I think it's like $79 or something. But you can get your picture on the front of a comic book that'll be like lined up in the house later. Like here, you can see, there's a guy in a normal people mixed in there. And it is a cool idea. I don't like pictures of myself to start with, so I'm not going to pay to have one put in there. But this is a cool one, and they always do it for the influencers and stuff. Like you always see Jackie from Super Enthused. Well, she'll definitely be there. You'll see Rick's Flicks guy up there. Tim Tracker used to be. I don't know if he still will, but you'd always spot him in there. So they'd always try to get the popular people and, give that to them for free. But again, I do think it's a cool idea. And part of me is like, wow, that'd be a cool thing. I could take a picture of it and remember it. But then I look in the mirror and go, nah, no thanks. I think I'll skip it. Anyway, inside the All Hallows Eve, they have a lot with Doctor Oddfellow stuff and other houses. So he's going to be the new uh, icon this year. So it is pretty cool. My first brand new icon. So I look forward to that. And they have him mixed into every house and scare zone
Yeah,
somehow or other.
they're pushing
Um,
him on everything this year, right? Everything is pretty much themed, all the original
yeah,
IP stuff. So yeah,
I don't
three
know.
things, right? And yeah, I don't know
Well,
that, but
basically, it's more. Every scare zone has something to do with him. Like there's a
uh,
backstory with him in it and stuff. I don't know how many houses, but I know every scare zone, the story revolves around Doctor Oddfellow. So yeah, I don't know what the darkest deal is. Doctor Oddfellow's traveling oddities, but so far I like the idea of it. Like I like the feel of it. I guess his house is going to be Twisted Origins, I'm guessing.
yeah,
But
sounds about
again,
right.
cool looking poster. He has the hypnotizing eyes, and like this stuff is like probably glowing under the right light. You know what I mean? It's like so far I like it. We'll see in real life how it pans out, but so far pretty cool. They even have shirts for him in there now. So and they also had a poster up for the Dueling Dragons house. So that'll be a fun one, based on the roller coaster they had. So that's going to be unique. I wonder if they'll put like a piece of the coaster in there or something. I know they have it, so they've got a lot of props from that thing. So that could
Well,
work out pretty
it
cool.
sounds like it sounds like it's going to be very lore based, right? Like, so it's going to be something to do with two wizards fighting, which was the story of the coaster, I guess, or something along those
Yeah,
lines, I think.
I remember they had knights like dead knights engulfed in the wall, like completely. Some of them frozen, some of them burnt, where you can just see like their sword there left, and so they had a lot of effects and props in the original queue. But I
Hmm.
look forward to that just to see what it is. And Yeti Campground, I heard of, like they're doing another. I guess they've done a lot of. Bigfoot, Sasquatch type stuff, but they always use the word Yeti at Universal. They always it's and no matter which one they're basing it on, they make it Yeti something or other. So and I heard that the Universal bear will be back somewhere too. And that's a big bear that pops out. I think it was the old Yeti house a few years ago. My wife and I thought the whole thing was done. We're out, and the security's there, and then from behind the black curtain an 8-foot bear goes right in, and it's like, whoa, it's like they get you because you're like, I'm out, everything's normal, and the universal bear showed up and whoo, got you. So, and again, it's a good one to have him there because it requires tall people, and the yetis require tall people too, so it makes it easier to throw a giant bear in there. But anyway, we went to the All Hallows Eve. I checked that out. I don't think I've ever seen one I didn't like yet, so it's not surprised. It's they changed it again and it's good. Then my wife went into whatever this place is. I always forget the name of it. Three Broomsticks. You can see three
Hmm.
broomsticks there. She went in to get her vegan butter beer, and after not getting on Cat in the Hat, I was like, all right. I said, so I guess this will be another half hour. And remember, the park closes in 2 hours, I think, or something like that. We weren't going to be there long. Um, anyway, it did take about 5-10 minutes, and she came out with that. But while she was in there, I was thinking, all right, I'm going to go over to Velocicoaster, and then I thought I haven't been on Hagrid's in years, probably at this point. It's always such a long line. And I looked at my watch and I'm like, to do something different, I'm like, I said, how about we go on Hagrid's? I said, it might be the only ride we can do, but we haven't been on in so long. Instead of doing Velocicoaster again and all the other rides we always seem to do. And she agreed. And so we went in and it said, and that's a long time, but I've waited longer for Hagrid's. I was like, all right, it's fine. We started walking in. Probably saw about 10 people in like three or four parties walking out of the line. So I was like, oh, that's not a good sign. Like, is it longer than I thought? Or I don't know. It turns out it was outside. The queue was outside, but it wasn't outside that far. It was outside. You've been on Hagrid's, haven't you?
Yeah.
So it was outside near this statue thing,
Okay.
I was around the corner from that, which right after this, you make a left and go in the building at least. So. And it was going fairly quickly. I got a lot of shots of the queue, and it made me think because we just did a podcast on this. So I was trying to remember all the stuff you had said is in there. And I think this room has a lot of the little things that you had talked about that I was like, yeah, like I think there's goggles there and all that. So I was trying to find the things that you said were in the queue. And I'm like, I can't remember seeing that. But so anyway, got a lot of new footage of the queue, and there's the screw.
There's the eggs. Yeah. Look at that. There they are.
So, I didn't mind waiting through this. Like I said, it's been a while. We even and with my not new camera, but knowing how to use my camera better, I put the HDR on. So everything was bright.
You're muted, John.
Oh, sorry, I was coughing again. It turns out it was a 45-minute wait.
Wow, that's that's like a half hour less than what it said.
Yep, and again, we were ecstatic that it went so quickly. I got the whole ride, but as you can see, very cloudy view. So again, it'll do all right. Like I already put it on TikTok. I think it got like 500,000 views. If it would have been blue sky with orange sunset or something, it probably would have done millions by now. So it's but it was still cool. I feel like I got the with my HDR, I was using 4K 30 on my iPhone, which is the one that I've been telling you. It works really good in the dark. Like that's the setting that seems to lighten things up the best. And here you can see inside that building that's usually very, very dark. I tried to record the drop with it, and here you can see, the roots coming down, and like you really can see that pretty well with that camera setting. Like it's very light in there. So I was happy to get that. But again, it would have been better with either dark, nice sunset or blue sky. The white clouds. I got to figure out how to edit just the sky in videos. You can do it in pictures pretty easy, but in a video, there's so much going. It's a little tough.
When you figure that out, let me know, because I have a Dudley Do-Right with cloudy sky behind it that it basically does nothing.
That'll get you millions if you had the blue sky.
I know. That's why I said it.
So from there, by the time we got out, it was it was only 7:23 and the park closed at 8. So I was like, wow, we actually have time yet. So I was like, I thought this would be the only ride we can go on. So we went over and we went on the Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey ride. And I tested my 4K again. Picks up the newspapers pretty well too, and the portraits, and picked everything up very good. But and I was gonna say too, I recorded the entire thing in 4K 30, and it turned out really good. I actually went ahead and deleted the last full version that I had because I'm like, this is just so much better. And I was gonna say here you can see a part of it. Um, see the dragon there?
Mm-hmm.
Very clear dragon, like just
Yeah.
perfect. Like you see the dragon and he blows the fire at you, and even the spiders like very clear and light. So again, this and all the effects worked. You know, the Whomping Willow, everything. It all worked perfect. So I was like, wow, I got a perfect once through on Forbidden Journey. Got it on film. It was 4K 30, so you can actually see it well. And it's like, yeah, I don't know if I need to record that again for a while. Yeah, there's the Whomping Willow. By the way, that would probably be a good podcast topic. Just how innovative and cool that ride is, because it's a good. It's
I
still
think
my favorite Harry Potter ride. It's just very well done.
we actually have it for a future podcast scheduled. So yeah.
So after that, it was getting late. Um, Not really late, but at 8 o'clock the park closed. So it was 7:47. We were walking out of there, and I decided to give the Cat in the Hat one more try, and it worked out well. We actually got in, rode it with no issue. Everything worked. So had a good ride through on that. Although the one part wasn't working on that, where the thing one and thing two come out of the boxes. I always like that part to see as you're going by, because those things, they look like horror movies. You know, they're kind of scary, but I like them.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was it for Universal. Started out with I didn't even know if we should go, and then I walked away from the Cat in the Hat, and turned out pretty good overall though, and a little bit different than normal. So, and let's see, on Monday, my daughter actually was at the parks. She stayed at the Contemporary. Uh, what is the vacation club called?
Bay Lake Tower. Bay Lake
Bay
Tower.
Lake. Cabana Bay. I'm so used to saying that Bay Lake
Yeah.
Tower wasn't coming to me. But yeah, pretty nice. She did a little bit of video pool, and again, I can't do the pool videos as well as her, because. And then here is a little look inside the room. I've stayed at the rooms at the Contemporary before. They're very nice. In that tower, I've already had a theme park view years ago where you could turn a certain channel on the TV and watch the fireworks from your balcony and hear all the music and everything. It's quite nice. So yeah, so she did that. Here is a look from the balcony. I guess she was on a lake view at the back. So you can look and see the main building of the Contemporary. And is that Bay Lake back there? Or, yeah, because the other one's
Yeah.
Seven Seas.
Yeah.
There's Bay Lake. And then they went to the Tiki Bar, or Trader Sam's. And I told her I'd never been there. Make sure you get me a little bit of video at least. She doesn't like doing a lot of videoing for me, but I paid for her ticket. I said, in order to make it tax deductible, you got to do some kind of work. The IRS will arrest me if you're not getting me any videos.
Yeah.
But I wanted to show you. There's some cool stuff. I think, yeah. I wish she got more of that guy. That was pretty cool. That thing, its eyes glow red and stuff.
Yeah, that's when you order a certain drink, I believe. Then they do all that stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. And they have, the the windows just like the Enchanted Tiki Room and stuff. And I mean, I've never gone in because I'm not going to pay like $50 for a drink. I just can't. I'd love to, but even if I was like a millionaire, I would be like, this is not a good use of your money. So I just couldn't make myself do it. And honestly, I'd be like, I could donate this money to like an animal charity or something. You know what I mean? I could like feed a dog for a month. I'm not going to buy a stupid. I just can't.
I do. I get that, but it's also the experience, It's more than for those people that go there, it's not just about the drink. I think it's more about the experience, I believe. But I agree with you. I couldn't spend
Yeah,
that kind of money on it either.
I just can't get past the extremely high price, And again, it's nice. I don't begrudge anybody for doing it. I don't know. I grew up without money, so to me, it's like I can't do that. I guess my daughter grew up with enough money, so she's like, $50 drink. What are you gonna do? I grew up with no money, so I'm like, no, I can't do that. Anyway, then she went to Chef Mickey's for breakfast, and I was gonna say she actually laid this out for the picture. There's a couple
Hmm.
of Mickey waffles, the Chef Mickey cards, some whatever you call it, pog juice stuff, some kind of iced coffee, and yeah, it looks very good. She
I
does
haven't.
not eat enough. Like this,
Hmm.
I was gonna say this probably cost her, like $70 or something, and this is probably the extent of what she got. She probably paid extra for this, and as far as food goes, got like $3 worth of waffles. And but again, I didn't pay for it. What are you gonna do? But that just made me think. Not a valuable person to take to a buffet.
My wife is like
But
that
yeah,
too, and I haven't been to Chef Mickey since like 2008, I think. So
it's been a while for I haven't been there since I went on vacation, I think. Or yeah, since I was on vacation. But I it's a nice place. Loud. I always liked the food. I thought the food was great. The characters are great. But again, it's just not something I do very often. But you know, it looked like fun. And then let's see that's on Tuesday. And then on Tuesday, I took a half day off of work and we went over to Epcot. And I told my wife we could either get some lightning lanes or we could schedule a meal somewhere. But I don't want to do both because we're only going to be at the park regardless a few hours, and the two don't combine. That's like throwing money in the garbage. So we decided to go to the Garden Grill because we both really like the Garden Grill a lot. We probably should have done something a little more unique, but we wanted the Garden Grill because it tastes good. But anyway, we went over and we had Lightning Lane or Disney Plus, no, virtual queue for Guardians. So we went over. The Guardians line was outside with a big crowd, and it was like 1 o'clock, and the sun was beating right down. There's no shade, and everyone's just standing there sweating. And I'm like, our reservation was for like 2:20. And I looked at the line and I said, we're probably not going to make the reservation if we wait this now. So we didn't. We just were like, that's all right. We went over and rode Figment, which I like Figment, but they desperately need to update that ride. That's the one ride they don't care to update. They're like, let's get the Haunted Mansion. I'm like, that line has not died since 1971. That's been long, so no need. You can do it when everything else is fixed, but no need right now. but they won't. They're still fixing what's not broke. So then we went over to the land and we rode living with the land, and that was enjoyable, except for the party of 16 that sat right behind me, and you know the noise level. They had their own. It was like their own lunch table, and in middle school where they just didn't stop the whole time. So, but
But
again, I'd been on.
unfortunately, what was their ages? They weren't exactly middle school ages either, were they?
They were adults through kids, but
Yeah.
again, I'm only on I'm not on vacation. But anyway, got a good look at the rooster and the house here on the land, and then from there we went up to eat at the Garden Grill. And I was going to say it's a good idea to ride the land first, because one of the first things they tell you is when they bring out the salad, they say most of this salad comes from right down below in the land. That's what they do a lot with the salad stuff, because there's no sense in making it go across the park. Get it there first, logistically. Use it. Garden Grill would be the first place you used it. So I thought that worked out good. And yeah, my wife got pictures with all the characters. And here is the view that we just saw from the boat, but from above at the Garden Grill. So I always think that's cool. There's the dog barking on the front porch. And I really do like the Garden Grill, the fact that it spins around like that. Just really, really cool view of the whole thing. And of course, the salad came out, and my goodness, again, Disney with these salads. Very good salad. And again, he said most of this stuff comes from right downstairs. I don't know if it's true or not, but every time I go down there, I really want a salad, Even right now, just talking about the land, I'm like, man, I want a salad now. So again, I don't even like tomatoes very, very much, but these are very good. I bet they were grown down in the land, and that salad was great. But I didn't get any extra because there's a lot of food involved in this stuff. So. And the rolls, I think I only had one roll. They were all right. It's nice because my wife is allergic to milk and eggs, so she gets her vegan butter, and I get my own butter. And I mention it because when the skillet comes out, this is mine. I get my own skillet, so I didn't even need the plate. I moved the plate. I just brought the skillet in front of me, and the thing I liked the least about all of this, I didn't care for the chicken because there was barely any meat on it. It tasted good, but like that wing, I couldn't get anything off that wing. I was like, I'm not eating that. So I got a little bit of chicken off this. The meat and the chimichurri sauce or whatever, that is so good. That was great. Green beans were great. This is cornbread. It's like, I don't know how they make it. It's like cornbread casserole or something. Great. I think that's called succotash and mashed potatoes. Great. Loved it all. And my wife wanted some of the meat without the seasoning on it. So I ate all the hers with the seasoning on it then too. This is the vegan meal, or not vegan, the milk and egg meal. So she got rice instead of potatoes, and of course she doesn't like rice. So I ate a lot of rice. I ate a lot of that meat. She got more brought out. And again, I have to say, I know I just talked bad about Grand Floridian Cafe. That's because the food was not good. This isn't the best food in the world, but it all tasted great. The salad was great. Even the chicken was great. It's just mostly bone, and I could ask for more, but I'd rather just eat the whatever the other thing is, strip steak with chimichurri sauce or whatever. That I just ate that, and I don't really even eat mac and cheese, but I had a whole bowl for myself, so I had some. It's that was good too. Not something I go out of my way to eat, but I didn't ask for anything more because I ate my skillet and then some of the stuff my wife didn't want, and then I got my own dessert cake too. Of course, um, Amazon has had enough, so I'm gonna have to do a refresh. They've decided
Yeah.
I've seen enough of my own pictures. I need to. But yeah, I had my own dessert, and I have to tell you, the dessert is good, but this is where the fresh goes away because it's very easy to tell that the blueberries and strawberries are frozen and thawed. You can. I've had frozen blueberries many times, and they are frozen blueberries. And again, it's fine. Still blueberries still taste great. Since this was all mine, I mostly ate the whipped cream and fruit part because I couldn't eat all that bread too. But very good. My wife's was a little different. It was just the fruit and a piece of cake down there. So she said it was good too. But anyway, the food to me is the thing. Like, tell me you don't see that. Does that make you hungry or no? That
It
makes me.
absolutely does. Absolutely does. It triggers all those garden grill memories the times I've been there.
And I know I didn't talk about it much because I'm not there for the characters all that much. And I've heard recently some people, the characters didn't come to the table or whatever. They all showed up for me many, many times. They were around and around. By the end, we're just waving as they go by. I was like, I've already seen them. This is the fourth time. But the issue I'm seeing now, and this isn't my issue, but the park was pretty crowded. I even waited 10 minutes to get on Journey into Imagination. The lines were thick. The Garden Grill was had many, many, many empty tables, and many cast members just lined up outside with nothing to do because people are not booking. This was just my wife and I, and we had a 10% discount for annual pass. I think we still spent with tip like $140, something like that, for two people. 140, 150, something like that. A lot of money. And again, the food was good. I really enjoyed it. The characters are great. But, how much can you really. I told my wife on the way out, I said, this is a sign that the people that are going to Disney are like, all right, we're going. We're going to have to cut, like, character meals are getting cut first, and then sit down meals are getting cut second, and then you know what I mean. And I really feel like
Yeah.
that because the chef Mickey's my daughter got, they got that at the last minute. They were like, oh, it's open, let's go do it. It's open because it's so expensive. So
It
expensive.
that does say a lot though, John. It says about who's going to the restaurants and parks and who isn't going and why they're not going. It says something there. My guess is, and this is just my experience on the last trip, right now in the summer, you're seeing a lot more locals than what you typically might have.
Yep.
That's why the parks are empty. The people have already done their revenge vacation and they're not going back to Disney because of how expensive it was. And the locals are definitely not going to pay those prices very often for a sit down meal. They're just
And
not.
even beyond locals, I am absolutely positively convinced that Disney is, with their new being very nice to cast member policies, that especially Epcot is just filled with cast members off duty and their families, just filled with them. I am so certain of that because lines are so full and no one's buying expensive meals. That's not vacationer, it just isn't. And it well, it is, but it's an exaggerated even more because when you're on vacation, I mean, you still, if your family loves Garden Grill, you're probably going to still do it, you know. But again, I have a feeling that, certain rides and things are just filled. And based on what I hear around the parks too, you can kind of tell that it's a place for the workers to just go and hang out. It's like, what else are you gonna do? You live near there, or your college program. It's like you're gonna go over to Epcot after work or before work or whatever. But again, I don't begrudge them, but I feel like when you have a park full of locals like you said, and cast members and their families, unfortunately, cast members can't afford to eat at the Garden Grill, so they're not going.
Yeah, it's a great point, John.
So from there, like I said, I thought the meal was great. I highly recommend it. It is expensive. I think it's $60 a person. Um, we only had two people, so I mean, when you were down here with like 5 or 6 people, I don't think that's doable, because that's like that gets to be outrageously priced. That's
We did absolutely no sit down meals when we were down there,
Hey,
like that,
there
and we
you go.
typically don't. It's just
Yep.
if my wife and I go, and it's just her and I, we will typically do sit down meals, usually one or two on the trip. But with the kids, it's
It's
too
not worth
much.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
like your youngest ones would probably, the kids' price is probably slightly less than the adults, and they would absolutely positively not eat half the food, and then they'd probably on the way out go, "Oh, I want a pretzel." It'd be like,
Mm,
I just spent $500 on lunch. So,
yep.
but that's what my wife and daughter used to do. That I still mention it to my wife sarcastically all the time. I remember we had an all you could eat like lunch scheduled for, say, like 1 o'clock. It's like 12:20, and my daughter's like, I'm hungry. I'm gonna get a pretzel. And my wife's like, yeah, let's get a pretzel. And I'm like, what? We're eating in like less than an hour. All you can eat, very expensive. And she's like, we're still eat. It doesn't matter. And I'm like, of course I lost. I lost the argument, and they got the pretzel. And I'm like, I just sit there shaking my head like, oh, the money waste just kills me. So, but I still joke about that. I think I told her on Tuesday, I'm like, oh, you want to stop and get a pretzel? Like, we're going to the Garden Grill. I'm like, why not? So I still have to be a sarcastic jerk about it. So then we walked the World Showcase, walked around the Japan Pavilion a little bit, um, saw they put the dirt in a Mickey shape, so I thought that was pretty cool. Look, is that dirt? That's Mickey. Yeah. And on the way out, we rode um, the Grand Fiesta Tour, starring the three Caballeros. It's a lot to remember. Um, and one of the reasons I did it was it was just so hot. I'm like, man, let's go in and ride the boat ride quick, because just to cool off. So, and that went well. We walked through the pickle shake place at the Odyssey. My wife commented, she's like, wow, nobody's in line. That line is very light. Like when we were there a couple of weeks ago, this whole thing was just filled. So I think people are running out of money to waste just to show Instagram that they had a gross pickle drink. So they're like, nah, let's skip it. Then we went over to the Guardians, which we did first, and this time um, the line was not bad at all. Like we went in, walked through the whole first part of the queue. We didn't stop until we got to the parts where you're in the turnabouts, like further in. And I was like, wow, that's great. So that didn't take long at all. And then on the way out, we had to ride Spaceship Earth once, because I don't know why. I always feel bad when I don't ride Spaceship Earth. I like to, no matter how many times I ride it, I always want to ride it again. And I wanted to show you iPhone 14 Pro with four setting to HDR is on 4K video, 30 frames per second. Look how bright that is. You can barely see that in this
Wow.
video.
Yeah. Yeah, that looks way better than if you're just looking at it on the ride. Like way better. It almost looks, watching it here, it almost looks like they fixed the screen and made it brighter.
No, it's the same as it is. It's just that makes a huge difference. And I have no idea why. I don't know enough about these things to figure that out. But I mean, the only thing I can say is some parts of it, it's so realistic that it adds a little too much light, and then you're like, wait a minute, it's starting to look fake.
Hmm.
Like you need a little more dimness to it. So it's an odd in between of which one you want. Because I was gonna say with the Grand Fiesta Tour, it actually brightened this stuff up. Actually, no. This is from my new camera. I got a DJI Osmo Action 4, and I got it
Hmm.
because it can do low light. So this is an action camera, a wide angle action camera. Look how nice that looks. Like it captures the lighting just right. And that's why I got it. It's one of the best low light action cameras. So I can take it in the water, I can take it anywhere, and it does low light pretty well too. So I was very surprised about that. But I did want to show this is what it looks like on my iPhone. You can see it's starting to look like too much light. Like, wait a minute, that's starting to look fake. Like look at that light. It's too much. I can see the ceiling.
It's
So
washed
I
out,
did a
yeah.
comparison. I did so on yeah, that's too much light. That's the problem. Because this scenery is not meant for that much light. So the 4K added too much light. So for rides like this, it's better to not have 4K 30. Change it to 24 or use something else. But just weird. It takes me so many years to learn anything, and I typically don't learn it. I just know what works and what doesn't. So, but slowly learning. Then from there we left, and that was around 5:30. We decided to head home, and that was it for our Epcot excursion. And that is it for the week too.
All right, John. Well, how did your week in social media go?
Well, I'll just do a quick review of it. My Disney accounts are slowing down a lot, meaning like my Instagram. I got 132,000 followers, but the reach again is slowly dying out. Every day is a little bit less. All of a sudden, my reels are doing fairly poorly. Like this one got 6,640 is the reach, and for me, I mean, even just putting a random picture of the monorail up gets 17,000, or a random video. Uh, this one got 6,000, which I thought is a very good video. And I even added El Rio de Tiempo background music just to make it a little more creepy. But again, did terrible. My Universal's similar. The last few days, it's like I can't even get 1,000 likes on something, and I have 140,000 followers, and I'm like, they're not showing it to anybody. So Instagram's going through a thing again. I really was thinking I wanted to do a screenshot of my TikTok stuff and put it in my story on Instagram and say, any of you creators out there frustrated with TikTok, don't give up on, or frustrated with Instagram, don't give up on TikTok, because I started late and it's now my largest account, 147,000 followers. That's my biggest one, um,
Hmm.
which I don't think it was before. And again, I have a 4 billion. 193,000, another 193,000. Seems to do well. And I've done a lot of things on TikTok where I put my there you are. Did
You're
everything
yeah
disappear?
you're yeah you're really breaking up at it. I think it's because of the videos on the TikTok. As soon as it starts up, it starts to it does weird stuff.
Oh yeah. Speaking of weird stuff, I'm not allowed to show you pictures
Yeah, of
anymore till
course.
my
Jeez.
time is up. Well, maybe not. Here is my Disney account. 1.3 million accounts reached in 30 days. That is my most sickly account of all of them. Um, there's my TikTok, 147,000. Yeah, I wanted to show you the reach for TikTok though, and I can't do it on the screen. It has to be. Yeah, they won't let me show you. Let's see what happens. I was gonna say basically I'm at like 1.2 million on my Disney Instagram. I'm at like 1.8 million on my Universal Instagram, and here is my last 28 days for TikTok, 12 million. So
Hmm.
I'm averaging 10 times reach on TikTok, and many times the views, likes, and TikTok actually has been paying a bonus, and Instagram, especially my Disney one, I don't think it makes anything, like literally just nothing. It's just stagnant. They don't even offer it anything. It's like, nah, ads on Reels, nah, not for that one. It's like, all right. I so anyway, TikTok is doing great. The other ones aren't doing that great. I was gonna say for YouTube, I stopped doing shorts all the time, and it really didn't seem to affect my growth. I still grow a few here and there slowly, whether I post 3 times a day or just once in a while. So YouTube apparently doesn't see me for the most part. One way or the other, I could do nothing or do a lot. It's like either way, it's about the same. It's
I
like,
think your YouTube does better historically, so to speak. So, you post something and people go back and watch it later. More than like recent stuff. Like if it takes a week, it seems for things to really take off. Because I know on this podcast, you won't get a lot of views right away, but then after a week there'll be 30, 40, people that just all of a sudden show up, and watch it. So, yeah, growth is slow there, but there's some.
yeah, there's some. It just wasn't worth me. I would spend hours every
Yeah.
Saturday
Yeah.
scheduling shorts, and
Yeah.
and I did that for months, and it really didn't pay off. So I was like,
It's a
I'll
lot of
just
work. It,
it isn't worth the time.
it's a lot of work for nothing. I agree.
Yeah, it wasn't definitely wasn't worth the time. So, but that's about it. I actually there was one other thing though too. It's something I pretty much never talk about. My Facebook has been growing for both my accounts. I'm up to 7,000 followers on my Universal Facebook, and I'm up to 6,650 on my Disney Facebook. So weirdly enough, Facebook is growing. Um, they actually pay ads on Reels on there, and they seem to pay better than Instagram. Like I see, I'm making more on Facebook with only a handful of followers than I am with 140,000 followers on Instagram. So I don't know what's going on with them. Hopefully, they straighten out whatever weird stuff they have going on. But I still am considering doing a story just to point out that TikTok is better. And I really do hope that Instagram does see it because I can't imagine what they would do to me. You know, it's like, what exactly would they do to make any difference at all? I don't
Yeah,
know.
what benefit do you have to even post on Instagram other than to just stay consistent at this point, right? I mean, you're not really making much of anything to make it worth your while, so.
Yeah, I mean, what are they going to do? We're going to reduce your reach now. It's like you're going to do it anyway, most likely, just randomly. It really doesn't matter much.
Mhm.
So, but we'll see. Um, Overall, things are going pretty good. I always say, even if I don't make money, my reach isn't doing good. I still have a slow growth. I'm up to 132,000, but at some point, I'm going to look there and be like my Universal. I have 140,000. I posted pictures from the of Dr. Oddfellow posters. I think it got like 300 likes. I'm like
Hmm.
140,000, 300 likes. I'm like that's a bad throughput. You know, like if I were looking at that as somebody else, I'd be like, those aren't real followers. That's fake. You know, but they are real followers. They took me years to get. I got them all slowly over time. There was never a jump. It was always a climb, you know. So I don't know. I'm anyway. TikTok is the best. So go with TikTok.
Yeah, fast growth on TikTok compared to everywhere else, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, um, they definitely treat me better than anyone else. So they
Mhm.
don't seem to mind that I'm not in all these videos. So yeah, TikTok is like you know, I think they're looking for people, just like the media stuff at the parks. It's like, well, they're looking for people. So
Yeah,
I like to do experiences.
yeah. All right, John, where can they find you online?
You can find me at SeeWDW on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and C.UO on Instagram and Facebook.
All right, and you can find me at the Giant Rat, THEE Giant Rat on all the socials, and that should do it for this one. We will see you on the next one.